What's up guys, today we'll be going over the Scepter builds for both Hunter and Titan, and I'm super pleased with how both of these builds turned out. The Titan one is absolutely insane, fire and ice. And a quick PSA, if you have any fireline rolls from the snipers or the linear of the season, definitely hang on to them. Cosmo confirmed the perk is not working as intended, so I was wrong and all I did was point out exactly what the issue was. And it seems that Bungie forgot to change the way the perks worked with this update, and are looking to eventually make it a flat 20% increase. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about fixing this perk, but either way, once it is fixed, it should be the best in slot and definitely worth keeping. Anyways, that one is definitely on me. So let's go and begin with the builds. The first one will be on the Hunter, and I had a very clear idea what I wanted to do with this build when I first started trying to make it, and that was taking advantage of the Scepter, then also the Stasis Shurikens, which you should be able to spam pretty often. And the reason I really like those is because with Melee Wellmaker, you should be able to create Stasis Elemental Wells pretty often, and would be more or less the most consistent way to actually spawn in Stasis Wells. But I had no idea what exotic I wanted to use. You guys know me, I don't really play on Hunter that much, so I'm not too familiar off the top of my head with every single exotic in the game for it. And I was kind of thinking at first maybe a Lucky Pants build, but then I realized there's no Stasis hand cannons in the energy slot, so that wouldn't work. So I kept looking, and then I saw powered melee kills jump out at me, and that instantly made a lot of sense with how often we're getting shuriken kills. So looking at this exotic, powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of invisibility and the amount of health and shields restored. So if we look at how this exotic works in game, whenever we throw our shuriken and get a final blow, we'll go invis, then we'll also create a stasis well because of melee wellmaker, and this invisibility will last for almost a full 7 seconds, which is quite a long time. Then if we look at the health returned on kill, as you see, you pretty much get your full health back every single time you get a powered melee kill. And we're going to be able to spam these things like crazy because of Grim Harvest, where killing a slowed or frozen target will create a stasis shard, and these shards will grant melee energy when picked up. And we also have Touch of Winter on, mostly for the fragment slots, but also it will enhance our grenade of choice. Then we have Fissures on to increase the radius and damage of the explosions. Bonds for more super energy on frozen kills. Hunger, which will give us more melee energy when we pick up a shard. And the final one is kind of a choice. I like to use Fractures, which will recharge our melee when surrounded by combatants. You could also use Conduction, which will make these shards track towards you. But I think with the invisibility from the exotic helmet, I think you don't really need them to track to you. You can just use that invis time to go pick them up. And that is why I prefer the one that will give me melee energy while surrounded. I just use that invis time to go pick up the shards, and I'll be surrounded during this, which will give me even more melee energy. So with all that going on, you should be able to spam your melees. So looking at the rest of the mods, we have Font of Wisdom. When we pick up a stasis well, we'll get maxed out intellect. Then we also have 2 hands on from the artifact, which will give us more super energy on melee kills, which will be happening obviously all the time. Also, when we pick up these stasis wells, we have Charged Up to give us 2 stacks of Charge of Light. We also have 2 stacks of Impact Induction to help get our grenade back when we do damage with our melees. Then moving on to the next set of mods, we also have Supercharge, which will allow us to get ×4 Charge of Light. So picking up 2 stasis wells will get us the full ×4 stack. Then we also have 2 bombers on our class item as a backup way to get our grenade back. And finally, with our stacks of Charge of Light, we have Energy Converter. When we throw a grenade, we'll consume all of our stacks and get super energy. So now how this entire build works is you just go around using your super. Then right after you use your super, you throw a grenade to get the first like 33-40% of your super back. Then you just use the shuriken combo and just spam them left and right, which will get your super extremely fast because of hands on, then also Whisper of Bonds. And every single time you get a melee final blow, you'll go invis, get health back, then you can go around and pick up the shards, and you should have pretty much infinite shurikens, and just keep doing the combo over and over again. Then before you know it, you'll also have your super, which is really good for Ager, and also boss fights with Focusing Lens this season. If you're running this build, all of your teammates could take advantage of Focusing Lens with their light damage. So overall, this build is already extremely fun and extremely good, but once Thermoclastic Blooming comes back, which might be in today's hotfix, your stasis melees will also create an Orb of Power. So I would definitely drop one of these mods right here and replace it with the artifact one, and now you'd be creating orbs of power all over the place for not only yourself but also your teammates, which would help you get your super even quicker. Then because you'll be picking up a bunch of orbs, I would definitely take advantage of a perk on my leg armor. I'm not sure which one it would be, but I definitely use one of those ones for picking up orbs of power. And now moving on to the fire and ice build. I was working on a stasis build for Titan, I'm not a huge fan of this subclass in PvE, and I found a kind of cool build, but it wasn't anything too crazy. If you want to see what I'm using, I'm showing it off on screen right now. It pretty much was just sliding into your glacier grenades over and over again, which I felt like I've already done before. So I decided to take this as an opportunity to show off how the Scepter works extremely well with even light subclasses this season. So I'm pairing that with a Solar Fusion and a Solar Linear Fusion. The only one is this one right here, the Corsair's Wrath from the hunts a few seasons ago. If you don't have this one yet, I definitely recommend getting it because it is the best one to pair with solar builds. And our exotic armor piece of choice for this build will be the Ashen Wake, which will make fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. And the reason the Scepter pairs extremely well with light subclasses this season is because of the artifact mod of Focusing Lens, where your light abilities do bonus damage to combatants affected by stasis. So looking at our subclass of choice, obviously we'll be starting off with fusion grenades because of Ashen Wake, but we'll be using bottom tree solar for sunspots. If you're unfamiliar how this tree works, solar ability kills restore your health, grenade and melee abilities and some warrior kills leave a deadly sunspot in their wake. So using our fusion will create sunspots, then when we pass through those sunspots we'll also get grenade and energy back, and give us the sun warrior buff which will increase our weapon damage, and make it so our weapons themselves can create sunspots. So now with all this going on, we first instantly freeze targets with the Scepter, then once they're frozen, we'll be doing 25% more damage with all our solar abilities against them, and once we use one of our solar abilities, we'll create a sunspot, pass through it to get Sun Warrior, which will increase all of our weapon damage, and make it so the Scepter itself can create sunspots. So we'll instantly freeze targets with this weapon, then instantly create a sunspot, which will then instantly shatter them. So just from shooting a single target, you will instantly kill everything around it. And if we look at the final mods, they're pretty straightforward. We have Elemental Ordnance to create solar elemental wells when we use our fusion grenade. We also have one grenade kickstart to get a little chunk of our grenade back when we first throw it. Then the next mod will be Explosive Well Maker, which will work with our grenades and also the stasis explosions. So another way to create more solar elemental wells. Then when we pick up those solar elemental wells, we have two mods. The first one being Phantom Might, which will give us a 25% increase to our weapon damage, which will be stacking with the Sun Warrior buff, which will pair obviously greatly with our fusion and our linear fusion. And the final well mod will be Well of Ordnance, which will give us a little bit more grenade when we pick up the solar elemental well. And we also have 2 stacks of Ashes assets to get our super even quicker with all the fusion grenade kills. And finally, we also have particle deconstruction along with Focusing Lens on our Titan Mark. So yeah, there's not really much to say about this build. You freeze them with the Scepter, then instantly shatter them because of all the solar sunspots, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Then, by the way, you also have infinite fusion grenades that detonate on impact, and will be doing 25% more damage because of the targets being frozen. Then once you have Sun Warrior procced, you can instantly freeze the target and shatter them with the sunspot just from killing a single target with the Scepter. This build is pretty crazy. And yeah, I don't think there's really much more I can really say about it except for just watch the gameplay. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave you guys with some gameplay of the Fire and Ice. Let me know what you guys think about these two builds. I think the Hunter build will be extremely strong once the Artifact mod is re-enabled, which might be today when the hotfix comes out, I'm not sure. And the Titan build is just absolutely insane. Anyways, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.